Pregame thoughts, Padres and the Rockies. Padres trying to not have a series win go the Rockies' way, have that be guaranteed today. Obviously, Rockies win game one yesterday. If the Padres lose today, then they lose the series, and they will be what, 2-10, something like that, I think, against the Rockies and the Angels this year. Going into yesterday, the Padres were 2-5 in the season series against the Rockies. So now they're 2-6. So that's 8. And then, yeah, those 3 games against the Angels. So not good, obviously. That's reminders of last year about some of the bad records the Padres had against teams that shouldn't be beating the Padres if you have those postseason aspirations. It's baseball. Those are still major league teams. So even like the best teams in baseball that still lose to bad teams. I'm not saying the Dodgers are performing like the best team in baseball, but they have a lot of talent on that team. And even last night, they lost to the Oakland A's after the trade deadline. So it can happen, but it sh- it shouldn't be happening consistently as it is. If the Padres want to go try to chase down the Dodgers for the division, if the Padres want to comfortably get into the postseason, and again, I know I've already said this many times in the last few days, but this 15-game stretch here, when you're facing the Rockies, the Marlins, you're facing bad Pirates. Pirates aren't as bad as the other two there that I named, but take advantage of this, especially when they didn't take advantage of that easier stretch. And the players will probably say there's no easy stretch. They're all major league teams, but I'm sure some of those guys in their heads are like, all right, this is an easier stretch of games than the stretch that we just went under, for example. We just went through with Cleveland and Baltimore and the Dodgers, obviously, for 2 games. Then that's okay. But still, I don't think you can look at this next stretch here that they're on right now, compare it to last stretch, and be like, no, it's the same, whatever. They got to focus on tonight, obviously. Martin Perez makes his Padres debut. My underdog fantasy pick is Martin Perez related, by the way. 2.5 earned runs allowed, higher or lower. I'm going to go lower on that. The Rockies, yeah, there's some talent there. There's some guys that can get you offensively. But Martin Perez, his last outing with the Pirates was good against the Rockies, against the Cardinals, when I think 6 innings. Let me look at his game logs here. He went 6 innings, gave up no earned runs. He walked 5, though, so that could be an issue. Limit the walks. I'm sure that's what the Padres have been trying to work on with Martin since he's arrived in San Diego. It's really boom or bust with him. He's had some really good outings, and then he's had some pretty bad outings where he hasn't been able to get through 4 innings. And if the Padres are going to go with the bullpen game tomorrow, we don't totally know that yet. Could go with Waldron, but if they go with the bullpen game, they may have to wait to announce that until after tonight's game, really. Because what if Martin Perez doesn't go long and then you end up using some of your guys that you may have thought you were going to use tomorrow, you know? So hopefully he can, give a Randy Vasquez outing from last night. Go 5 innings. You don't want the long first inning, but go 5 innings, keep the Padres in the game, and hopefully the offense can score off of a guy that I frankly had never heard of going into today. His name is Tanner Gordon. You can see the ERA there. Not great. 8.80. I believe he's been up and down in the minors because he only has 3 outings in the big leagues this year, but all 3 of them have not been great in terms of earned runs. He's given up 6 home runs this year. Those were his first 2 outings of the year. His last outing was 6 innings on the 27th. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 9 hits. He's not going to walk a lot of guys, though, but he's not going to strike a lot of guys out either. So, Padres, they have an opportunity here. This is not even the level of yesterday's starter, Austin Gomber, that the Padres are facing. But we've seen the Padres face some guys that we haven't heard of before, and then that guy ends up pitching well against our offense. So hopefully that's not what happens tonight. Again, like this stretch of games, it's a huge opportunity for the Padres to get really into this division race. I'm still not even thinking that the Padres are going to go win the division. I need it to be like a couple of games. And it's also out of respect to like what the Dodgers have built. And I don't like talking good about the Dodgers, but it is a fact. The consistency in the regular season, um, of being able to be on top most years in the National League West, and the Padres haven't been able to do that in a long time. So again, it has to get even closer than what it's at right now. What, 4.5 games? I'm still focused on, okay, put yourself in the best position, try to go get that first wild card spot, host a playoff game. Getting back to Martin Perez, why I went lower him on that Underdog Fantasy 2.5 earned runs is because one, I don't know how long he's going to go tonight, and two, I'm not going to sit here and feel like that Ruben Niebla didn't work with Martin Perez and the Padres haven't worked with Martin Perez. I saw video already of Ruben Niebla working with Martin Perez in the first bullpen I think that he threw in San Diego at Petco recently. So how much is he going to implement? How much are we going to hear from Ruben Niebla or from Martin Perez on what they worked on? I don't know, but I'm sure the Padres have looked into numbers and, Perez, he's a vet. So I feel like he's in the spot where he's just trying to help in any way he can. And it's not like you're going to improve velocity or stuff like that, really. This is who he is. You just got to improve the other stuff in some way. Maybe it's delivery, maybe it's where you're looking at with the catcher to try to improve your location. Maybe you can improve, the break on certain pitches, but so for me, I think that's what they're working on there. But Martin Perez, I feel like this is a good guy to add for this Padres team. Sure, we wanted a better starter, but at least for me, speaking for myself, I wanted someone like Martin Perez, a depth starter, and then a better starter on top of that. But I'll also take a dominant bullpen, which I hope the Padres have here the rest of the year. Really, I know I'm kind of rambling. Really, what I'm excited about is just seeing Martin Perez in a Padres uniform today and seeing how he's going to do. This one start doesn't determine like if he is done being in the rotation with the Padres, but it could be a good indicator to like what are we going to get the rest of the year with Martin Perez in a Padre uniform. AJ Preller, he's already had a history this season and in the offseason of getting guys that are veterans. They're not highly thought of around baseball in terms of like a lot of teams being interested in signing those guys or trading for those guys. Of course, he's made the splashy moves like a Luis Ariz or a Dylan Cease, but let's remember Jeremiah Estrada, that was not a highly talked about move in the offseason. Donovan Solano, David Peralta, guys like that, veteran guys, Martin Perez on the pitching side of things falls into that category. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. And then the bullpen situation, the good news is that all of the high leverage guys should be available today. Well, I mean, we'll see about Jeremiah Estrada, but the good thing is he threw 29 pitches yesterday. So, yeah, Alec Jacob, but Estrada and Jacob, they're not the top high leverage guys. Estrada is a part of the high leverage, but when I talk about top, I think Suarez, Tanner Scott, Jason Adam, those are the three there. And then you can Morahone, Estrada, but Morahone, Adams, Scott, Suarez, they should all be good today. Hoeing, I would think that they save in case for tomorrow, but they might go Waldron tomorrow. We'll see. As of this recording, I don't know who's starting tomorrow's game. Lineups. I have not even hit on the lineups yet. No Rockies lineup as of now, but Arise, Profar, Crony, Manny, Bogarts, Merrill, Peralta, Kim, and Campy. No surprises here. Solano wasn't going to be in it. A righty's on the mound, so Crony's back in, or excuse me, Arise, I think, had the day off yesterday. Arise back in there. Crony, obviously, at first base. And yeah, that's what we got. Those are my pregame thoughts for tonight. Post-game reaction after the game. Hopefully, it's going to be a fun matchup.